and on X, formerly known as Twitter, Smart24 TV now. That is where you can catch us every single day, just in case you missed out. Well, 4 minutes past 7 a.m. and today is the 14th. Yeah, mark the day, the calendar. For most people, it's marked red because it's a beautiful day for most people. Well, we're always here to get you motivated, just in case you're having a very the morning is not quite interesting for you, because we know people wake up with a lot of thoughts, a lot of challenges. Yeah, so we have to keep you motivated and inspired on how you can start your day every day. But of course, we got you. Let's get into the motivation, and we shall be back. Well, of course, that is it for our motivational moment. And of course, the very first one coming in to use the power of curiosity. Curiosity, they say, killed a cat. Wanting to know so much also can lead to overthinking, and you have a lot of thoughts and have a lot of questions. But then there are people who are just curious naturally, and of course, has led to them discovering a few things they did not know about certain things. So definitely curiosity is also part of life. So if you're there and you're not inquisitive enough, remember growing up, some kids, I was inquisitive. I was very inquisitive growing up. So it helped me really know a few things. Yeah. So have that kind of mindset. If you have that power to be curious, to know a few things, to learn things, yeah, I think you will be able to win over very many things and avoid a few things that may lead to a distraction. Well, if we could go back to the very last one, because it was a bit long, and maybe we could see what it meant. Yeah, something about not listening to too much advice. You have to know who is advising you and who to take advice and information from. At the end of the day, it's now like getting into a new place. You have gotten into a new working environment, you get in a new community, and then the community members, the environment, this one is telling you do this one is telling you do this. At the end of the day, you have to be able to discern on what you feel is right for your ears. Not everyone who advises you is advising you on positive things. Some would be advice of doom. So please take a keen interest in what people tell you. So yeah, well, that is it for our motivational moment. Well, I'm joined with Andrew, and just to point out, we're talking about social media, the tool for network research, and of course we're looking at the population, as Uganda being a population that is full of youth, yeah, huge percentage is predominantly youth. And of course, social media now is about people who can actually access social media, about 2.05 million people, which compared to the population of Uganda, it is quite very small. I think it's like, I don't know, 0 point something percent.
It's about actually 14% of the population engaging itself with the social media.
Yeah, but now, it's still little.
Okay, it's quite. It may not be as less, but at least that little can birth an impact. Now, when it comes to how best they can utilize the social media. Now, this brings me to the perspective of matters to do with algorithms. Because if we're talking about social media as full of market research, this is something that you need to look into, because the ultimate question is that how do we even understand what social media is all about? Do we know that we can actually have secondary plugins when it comes to data analytics, such that we can know how the audience is actually engaging with our product that we put across? Now, of course, when we get into this, the main points of interest come back to the demographics and interests, where here you need to analyze user profiles on different platforms, then to gain insights into, first of all, age. You need to understand the age of the people, language, the interests, and online behavior of your target audience. And all this is tracked for a given period of time. We're talking about sentiment analysis, where you track conversations, you track feedback that is given, engagement. All those are quite key. And that's why I always tell somebody that if you feel like your product is actually the talk of the day, it's not about how many likes you're going to get. It's going to also determine on the engagement level. Let me say, because there are times you see people even having conversations and online conversations when a product is being, advertised. When you're advertising a product, all that really speaks about that is in line to do with sentiment analysis, tracking conversations. Now we have also community engagement. We can't rule that out. It's also important participating in relevant online communities and forums to directly engage with your target audience. So all these forums are quite very key and important, and also identifying the trend and opportunities, following the hashtags, what is trending. You need to monitor popular hashtags, keywords, getting to understand what are the trending topics, and identifying emerging trends, interests, and potential product service ideas. It's all a wide lot of a bouquet that you need to really have as a business person. And it doesn't just involve with a social perspective, but it has a technical side to it. That's why later on we shall see algorithms, because this is what has made TikTok one of the most outstanding. And taking a look at other platforms, for example, Netflix, somebody as if they know what you want, Oh, now this is all investment in data mining. Data research, data mining. Of course, data mining companies have not really been the big deal yet in our country, Uganda. But talking about countries away from Uganda, talking about in Europe, it's quite expensive. Data is the next generation. And if governments fight so hard to have access to data, how much more for businesses to have this data to make decisions?
Yeah, actually, I think it's recently where government was proposing that different entities should have their data put up online. It could help in easy access of information. And of course, you talked about something about feedback. Feedback is quite important.
Feedback makes the communication process complete.
Yes, it makes the communication complete. It's just like having a trending hashtag and people are retweeting it. Just that means it has influence and it has impact. It has something that has impacted. So I believe the community, the business fraternity, has a lot to do when it comes to the use of social media. They have to learn how to use social media one way or the other to promote their brands, and to make sure that their services are available. Now that we realize that our audience, the population, we have to first go back and research the population. Well, it's the youth now, be radical. So, what do the youth want? What kind of content do you think you can do you think the youth can relate to? What kind of products do you think that the youth can relate to? That if you're in business, they could, relate to your products. So I feel like social media is actually one of the best platforms so far. Because before that there was traditional media, newspapers, and but people wouldn't even buy newspapers. But now everyone has an access to a phone. So you go online, you check out what is trending, and your competitors. It helps you know your competitors on how you can upgrade yourself and get to know more knowledge on how to broaden your brand. So you can imagine what was I talking about? Different brands. We were talking about TikTok and how people have gotten endorsement deals, become brand ambassadors because of social media. Now these days it's about who has more influence. That's why we have many influencers. I don't know if we have very many influencers in the country apparently, but then those are the ones that are getting the jobs. First-hand information is through social media. Now everyone is entitled to be a journalist. Whatever happens, information is right there. So everything is on the cloud. Everything we can access on the cloud. So how about we use that information to build ourselves?
All right, you're actually very right. And now this brings in the aspect of competitor analysis here, whereby you need to see what your competitors are actually posting, how they engage with their audience, and what kind of content actually resonates with them, All this is something that should be taken into consideration if we are really saying that I'm using my social media as a tool of market research, getting to understand what my audience really desires in a way. Now, there ought to also be what we call the aspect of innovation in research. Now here, you identify new product features, new packing or marketing approaches that can actually resonate with your audience. Now, this can be through polls, through surveys and interactive campaigns. And this is what the businesses that are making it out there globally are doing. Now, if we have to take a look at the social media statistics as of 2023, of course, we had Facebook being a dominant figure. That was 2023, but it all turned around, seeing Twitter being the lead as we're talking about 2024. And actually, YouTube is part of that, seeing the Pinterest there, Reddit, YouTube, Tumblr, Facebook. You can all see the rate at which a majority are actually engaged with. And to me, in my observation here, LinkedIn doesn't seem to have quite a huge penetration. Because of the market kind of trend it serves, But I think also, if you look at the entirety of the population, in Uganda, there is something I've come to realize. And if you compare countries in continents like Europe, people that make brands are corporates. But in Africa, people that make brands is Omuntu Awansi. That is something that is it. So if you get to realize that platforms that have a lot of engagement of Omuntu Awansi, you likely like Facebook. And Twitter is also now coming. Before it started as it was considered like this platform for corporate. But of course now it's becoming a bit.
It's just that now people understood. X. It's just people now. Those days people would talk about business and corporate things, but now anyone will just post a picture and they're like, "What do you think?"
Yes.
And the next thing people are liking, they're retweeting, and all the gibberish all there. It doesn't even make sense at the end of the day because that is what Africans relate to. So that is why there's no much penetration on LinkedIn. Because if you ask around, not so many people on LinkedIn.
Some people don't even know about it.
Don't know about it.
That is absolutely right. Now, of course, we're talking about social media as a tool of market research here. Now, it will bring us in this perspective. Sometimes when we talk about social media, what comes in people's minds is Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all that. But it's way bigger than that. That you as you grow in the world of business, you get to realize that content is key. So when you talk about content, that means you may need to have your own platform that can actually provide that content. For example, you can design a website, you can design an application. Lots of now businesses are adapting to that trend. Through that application, you can engage with your audience, and you will be able to get clear statistics regarding their view on your product. So businesses have engaged in, because when you have your own private platform, you are able to have what we call customized algorithms, customized plugins. These help you in making a market research, in understanding what your audience is all about. How do you determine this? You create content and the audience is able to engage. Because remember here, even the advantage that comes along with it, it's first of all cheap, it's not expensive. Because for the start, you can administer, you can run your application, you update your application. Of course, as the business, as you expand its content, its reach, you'll have to have more people coming in here. Because when we talk about another advantage when it comes to you having your own platform, you can easily, because with your engagement of the audience, it's very easy for you to even benefit from the advertising revenue. Because when you say that you want to compete with having your platform on social media, and your platform in this instance, it is secondary. That means the revenue share won't be first of all, you're sharing your revenue with Facebook, with Google, YouTube, and you cannot compete with them. New York Times, talking about them. You cannot. Let me tell you the truth. But now you have your own platform, so you dictate what goes on there. Because every business can actually be a tool as a content tool, because it doesn't only stop at you selling in the market, but you also have content in relation to what you're selling. For example, I'm dealing in food. I create my own website and it's talking about food. Why people need to prepare good food, how to prepare a nice meal, when it's somebody ought to eat. All that intellect is actually required. I watched something so amazing of how innovative people have gone, that you go in a restaurant and you eat food, and you're eating this, for example, meat. It's for God. Then you get headsets, and you're hearing actually how this animal was cut as you're eating. I mean, I'm talking about all this is innovation. This is all innovation. And it all has a lot to do with algorithms, incorporating IT together and ensuring that we have a smooth running of operations in all perspectives. So that is the statistics as they are standing. Of course, we still have something for 2024. Yes. Now, YouTube seems to be the dominant as of Jan 2024, followed by Twitter, followed by Pinterest. Facebook is declining. The first statistics we actually had to do, Facebook was the leading. That was as of 2023. Now YouTube is right there.
Well, I think I could have a reason as to why Facebook is decreasing. Maybe for the case of Uganda, remember, we still have that ban on the use of Facebook and all that. So people do not have anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they shifted from Facebook. Now they went to other platforms like YouTube, now Twitter, X, now X. So definitely, I feel that is why we have more penetration in both ends. YouTube, you can access anything. You can learn from YouTube. You can get entertained from YouTube. So it is it has a whole genre of all things. It is entailed category. It has everything on it, which is different from other platforms because they're kind of limited. On Twitter, you have to type a certain amount of words. But of course, on YouTube, you can get news, you can get entertainment, you can get movies, you can learn a course. So it's a variety. Everyone can relate to. Someone will be like, YouTube this kind of thing compared to other platforms.
Yes.
Mostly because why? Mostly these ones are more interactive. You can interact these other platforms, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Maybe Instagram because it's more of pictures and videos and but these two, Facebook and Twitter, there is more of interaction. Some people don't want to interact. They want to see and then like and then move on.
Absolutely.
But they are the best when you want to get feedback. Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter. You're absolutely right. And of course, why do we need to use social media when it comes to market research? First of all, it's cost effective. You get real-time insights regarding your product. Despite you having to go to the field and collect data from an individual basis, that is a bit expensive and costly because you have to pay transportation costs, the labor you need, and you have to pay so many more. The costs that incur when you're in the field collecting data. Now, as much as we've been talking about algorithms, we know that while the pre-built algorithms can be helpful for the general market research, that is on social media, actually every platform has those analytics in those that come, of course, inbuilt within. TikTok has, Twitter has, the engagement and all that. But customizing algorithms can actually offer deeper insights if people didn't know that is tailored to your specific needs. And now, how can you do to achieve this? Of course, you need to define your research goals. What specific questions do you want to answer? Must you get this? Are you interested in customer sentiment? Are you interested in trend analysis or identifying new market opportunities? Knowing your goals helps determine the algorithm's functionality. Because, okay, when I'm speaking about algorithms, I mean, this is programming. But this is necessary, honestly. You cannot escape information technology anyway if you want to be on top of the game. You need to understand who is your target audience. Understanding their demographics, talking about age, online behavior, talking about platform preferences, talking about preferences, because this informs data collection and the analysis and how you're going to put up your customized algorithm. Remember, you're not using the inbuilt, the primary rather, but now you're having your secondary algorithm, which you're putting all together. And now we see that there is also the aspect of sentiment analysis, like we mentioned. There is clustering algorithms. Now here, these group users, based on similar characteristics, they are uncovering hidden segments within your audience. You need to suggest relevant product, services, and what I can call content to users the best. That is based on their past behavior and preferences. So, do you record the behavior of your users in the past? All those behaviors are actually very vital. Though, we have limitations to this. Because sometimes you may not be certain on what. Because at times there are biased opinions that are given on these online. And somebody can give you just an opinion because, well, they're trying to hype you up. And sometimes something can trend because there is an agenda driven why it's trending. But if you are to underlook into the dynamics of it, we've seen AI manipulating figures on Spotify. And recently they have been trying to see ways on how they can combat robot streams. So sometimes we may not entirely rely on these algorithms because they can be manipulated. Now, which is not the case when with field data. If somebody tells you your product is good, that is it. That is not, I mean, you get it from that, because we know social media has the ability to drive the trend of where the news is heading. It has the power to determine that. So that means if I have the power to determine something, what are the chances that due to political reasons, sometimes there is a political element that can direct the trends on social media. That is a fact. It's facts here.
Well, I must really ask what happened to Threads, because it was the other version of...
Threads was made out of emotions, I think.
It was out of emotions, but I felt it would be something that, would be different. Because now everyone was on X. Now everyone is on X. We need something that differentiates class from,
Absolutely.
Different classes of people.
And maybe finally, talking about having your customized algorithm, the final stage, after getting all the information we've mentioned, the demographics, your behavior of your target audience, you have now to test your algorithm. You need to feed your prepared data into the algorithm and let it learn the patterns. Test its performance on the subset of data and compare results to expected outcomes. Before you run the algorithm officially, you need to first test it. You need to test it and see how it performs, such that At the time it's already out there in the market, it can actually deliver efficiently. Well, exactly 28 minutes past 8, we'll take a break and we'll return with sports and entertainment.